You've probably heard a lot about the Tesla Model Y, from how fast it is to how far you can go on a single charge and everything in between. But how much of it is true? Well, we're here to give you our expert analysis, along with test results and experience from real-world ownership, all so you can decide whether or not the Tesla Model Y is right for your lifestyle. Hi, I'm Travis from Edmunds. We painstakingly test and review hundreds of cars, trucks, and SUVs each year, while CarMax buys, sells, and expertly appraises thousands upon thousands. We've combined our testing knowledge with CarMax's experience to help find the right car for you. Before we get into the video, I need you to switch into ludicrous mode and tap that like and subscribe button below for more CarMax videos. For an in-depth article on the Model Y and all of its competitors, click the link in the description below. But now, it's time to go fast. The Tesla Model Y was introduced in 2020, after a little hullabaloo, some equivocation, and a slight bit of kerfuffle. But what's important is that it's here now, and there are lots of used models showing up on the market. So what is the Model Y? It's an electric car, which means it uses no gasoline at all. Just plug it in, charge it up, and go. It stores that power in batteries underneath the floor, which then power motors that move the wheels. And what you've heard about that part is definitely true. This thing is quick. At its core, the Model Y is a compact crossover. So it seats 5 or 7 passengers in some configurations, and there are a number of different styles with standard or long-range batteries, but the one we've got here is the performance model. CarMax sells the Tesla Model Y for about $58,000. Those prices depend on things like the trim level, mileage, options, and other factors. But there's so much more to this electric SUV than meets the eye. Pros, cons, and some negative ownership experiences we've had. Yes, this Tesla Model Y is part of the Edmunds long-term test fleet, where we buy, drive vehicles for over a year, and then write about the experiences. So you can rest assured that especially on this one, we talk from experience. So let's jump right in. First things first, it's easy to get in and out of the Tesla Model Y. The doors open wide, and thanks to a nice ride height, you can just slide right into the front seats. Behind the wheel, there's plenty of adjustability from the steering wheel and the front seats, so you can find your driving position easily. Up front, there's lots of headroom, and in the rear, plenty of legroom. But let's talk about a few of the gripes we have with this vehicle. The forward visibility is good, but rear visibility is pretty limited with that slim rear window and the slim windows on the back doors. It means you'll be relying on Tesla's blind spot monitoring system, which we'll talk more about later. And then when it comes to the front seats, they're relatively comfortable, but the padding's pretty firm, and in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of the way they look. It doesn't really match the price point of this vehicle. At Edmunds, we've owned pretty much every Tesla we could get our hands on over the years, and they've all got something in common: issues with fit and finish. Even the early production models like the Model S, we could forgive a little bit, but build quality was pretty bad. Thankfully, they've gotten a little bit better on models like this Model Y, but there are still some problems. What we recommend is that you take a close look at fit and finish before you drive off the lot. Now, let's talk about this touchscreen. Every Model Y gets a 15-inch tablet-style touchscreen in the center console, and it's really aesthetically pleasing. But when you look closer and think about it for a minute, there's no buttons to touch here or really anywhere except for a couple of stalks on the steering wheel and a couple of buttons up front. Now, that's nice to look at, but it means that you'll want to spend a lot of time practicing with this screen before you take it out on the road. There are a number of features that you have to swipe and pull and pinch for to find, and you don't want to be going 70 miles an hour trying to adjust the air conditioning via the touchscreen. Thankfully, in lieu of a lot of buttons, you do get a pretty good voice control system. It does cool stuff like open the glove box or adjust the temperature of the interior. But it's not very good at receiving navigation addresses. This navigation is run by Google, as is the map, but you can't connect Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. You can connect via Bluetooth for audio and phone calls. Then there's the issue of the screen itself being the hub for all your controls. Sure, it's nice to have something centralized, but what happens when it goes out? I've personally been driving this car when the screen has gone out in the middle of an unfamiliar neighborhood. I was relying on maps that I had gotten on this system, and I was lost. I had no idea where to go or how to get out of the neighborhood I was in. Luckily, I wasn't really in any danger. I just pulled over and waited for the system to reboot, and honestly, that's what we recommend you do. So here's something fun. We're in the middle of shooting this video on the Tesla, rehearsing the parts about how sometimes the screen goes black and you lose control. I'm chilling in the air conditioning, having it blow full blast, while the wonderful crew is standing outside in the hot California sun. The screen has gone black, and oh, look, it's rebooting on me now. The car's running, and the AC is unchangeable. So if I was cold, couldn't turn the heat up because those controls are based in this screen. Oh look, it's coming to life again. Try to have a little bit of patience and not let it ruin your day. So now let's take a look at the cables and the cords. One of the benefits of owning an EV is no engine. So that means extra storage space up front in the frunk or front trunk. It's enough for a couple of suitcases, and that's a lot considering the Model Y already has excellent cargo space in the back. If you have the 2-row version, the rear trunk is extremely spacious, with a flat floor that even has a hidden space underneath. This is a lot of room for the class, and it's right up there with the Audi e-tron and the Jaguar I-Pace. Speaking of EVs, let's talk about charging. Sure, you can charge the Tesla at home using your standard 110-volt outlet, but that's going to take a really long time. The better idea would be to get an electrician to come to your home and install a level 2 charging solution. Or you can use Tesla's wide-ranging supercharger network, which are public locations just like gas stations. Just like gas stations, though, you have to pay. I repeat, these are not free. But for the most part, these stations are conveniently located, and the Model Y is able to point you to the nearest one anytime you need. Once there, just plug in and the system automatically charges your account. You can go from 0 to 80% charge in as little as 45 minutes. Charging is one of the most appealing parts of Tesla ownership. If you can plan your driving schedule around your charging schedule, we think that can be pretty endearing too. And I can hear you saying it, what's it like to drive? Well, let's take it out and find out. So you're all charged up and ready to go? Well, what happens when you hit the fun pedal? A lot. The Tesla Model Y that we have in our fleet here is the performance version, so it's able to go 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. This is what we clocked it out on the Edmunds test track. That's fast sports car territory. Forget just SUVs. But it's not just acceleration. The Model Y has stable handling, quick steering, and responsive brakes. It's an excellent all-around driver's car. Here's how far you can go. The Model Y has an EPA-estimated range of up to 316 miles, assuming you've got a full charge when you start out. And our performance version has an estimated range of 291 miles. Of course, we've tested this, and write this down, every Tesla we've ever tested, including this one, has failed to reach its estimated total range. Now, you could argue that's frustrating for a vehicle that makes big promises, but we tend to lean on the side of, it's still a lot of range. Both things can be true though, so you should weigh the importance of whether you absolutely need every one of those miles and adjust accordingly. One thing that's a little harder to forgive is the rough ride in our performance model. It comes with a stiff suspension that helps the Model Y rocket around corners, but you'll feel jolts and jitters on all types of road surfaces. And if that's a problem, consider getting the long-range version that has a slightly softer ride. One last thing you really need to know, the Model Y has a strong array of semi-automated driver assist aids. Keywords here, semi-automated. No Model Y is a self-driving car, period. Tesla calls it autopilot, but as anyone who's ever flown a plane knows, autopilot doesn't mean the plane can fly itself. Every Model Y comes with forward collision mitigation to warn you of frontal collisions, lane keeping assist to help prevent you from crossing lanes unintentionally, and blind spot monitoring, which you can view on the screen to avoid surrounding cars that may be hard to see. They also have adaptive cruise control, which keeps a set distance between you and the vehicle ahead and is one of the Model Y's best features. It works well on the highway, but it's exceptionally good in stop-and-go traffic. This takes some pressure off you as the driver and helps reduce fatigue. But you want to make sure to keep your hands on the wheel at all times. You need to be ready to take control, as the Model Y doesn't always react to situations like merging lanes, construction zones, and busy interchanges very well. It's a good system, but don't rely on it solely to do your work for you. So that's the skinny on the Tesla Model Y. It's a remarkable car, but it's not magic. Just like any other vehicle, you have to be an active participant. You have to drive it, you have to steer it, you gotta be involved. There are gonna be some issues here and there, like fit and finish, but if you're willing to put up with that stuff, it's gonna be an EV ownership experience like nothing else on the road. The Model Y is so much more than your average EV, but hey, it's pretty good at being an average EV too. For more videos like this, click like and subscribe so you can see stuff from the CarMax YouTube channel. And if you want all the details on the Tesla Model Y, check out that link in the description below.